Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Unity Orlando. Our opening statement this morning is, I live and move and have my being in a sea of God life and God love. Let's all affirm that together. I live and move and have my being in a sea of God life
and God love.
All right, let's all close our eyes, take a nice deep breath in. Let's affirm that together in the silence. And so it is. Now, if you'd like to stand and help us sing our joy song this morning, it's called I'm About to Shine. Love comes through from heaven now, and it feels like I'm about to shine. Love comes through from heaven now, and it feels like I'm about to shine. And the love that shines through is the love that's linking me to you. Peace comes through from heaven now, and it feels like I'm about to shine. Peace comes through from heaven now, and it feels like I'm about to shine. And the peace that shines through is the peace that's linking me to you. Joy comes through from heaven now, and it feels like I'm about to shine. Joy comes through from heaven now, and it feels like I'm about to shine. And the joy that shines through is the joy that's linking me to you. Light comes through from heaven now, and it feels like I'm about to shine. Light comes through from heaven now, and it feels like I'm about to shine. And the light that shines through is the light that's linking me to you. The light that shines through is the light that's linking me to you. And the light that shines through is the light that's linking me to you. And the light that shines through is the light that's linking me to you. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good morning, Unity Orlando. How's everybody doing today? Good to see you all, and welcome online. I'm Susan Francis. I'm your platform speaker today. Let's see, just a few announcements. Just a reminder, prayer chaplains pray every evening at 8 p.m. We invite you to join us. The July affirmation is, my understanding of truth deepens and directs my life. And then, of course, we're available to pray after service if you need prayer. I'm a prayer chaplain, and Paul is a prayer chaplain, so two of us in the house today. An update on our painting project fund, and so far we're at $3,560. And that includes Paul's matching our funds. And our goal is $10,000. So we're on our way. So we are grateful and we're very thankful to have this project hopefully pretty much behind us. So, and it looks great. Reverend Bob's lesson today is imagination is my superpower. But before I turn it over to Brian, I have a little story about a man who was speeding down the highway. Imagine that. And he gets pulled over by a policeman. And the officer comes up to the car and says, "Do you have any idea how fast you were going?" And the man replies, "I am sorry, officer. I was rushing to a lecture about the negative impacts of alcohol abuse and the importance of staying within the law and not speeding." Intrigued, the officer asks, "Really? Who's giving this lecture at this time of night?" And the man smirks and he says, "My wife." Get it, right? He's going to get a lecture when he gets home. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian.
Well, here's a song I actually wrote originally for one of Reverend Ronnie's talks. She always used to say, "Imagine that." Mm-hmm. And so I think there's a song in that one. So here's a song called "Imagine That." Imagine that, all the good that flows. Imagine that, I am the one who knows. Imagine that, answers in the wind that blows. Imagine that. Now I am stronger in my life than I'd ever known, and I grow stronger every day, and I feel faith, I feel love on my way. Deep in my heart, I'm okay. Imagine that, all the good that flows. Imagine that, I am the one who knows. Imagine that, answers in the wind that blows. Imagine that. And in 1,000 years, nothing stayed the same. Here in the moment still, I have a dream. And yes, true, this shall pass. All comes to those who ask. Still always love remains. Imagine that. Imagine that, all the good that flows. Imagine that, I am the one who knows. Imagine that, answers in the wind that blows. Imagine that. Imagine that.
Ah, that was beautiful and right on point. Imagine that. How is everyone today? You happy? How are you there at home? You happy there? Some people seem to be happier watching in their pajamas. In any case, it's wonderful to have you if you're at home. It's wonderful to have you if you're here. Imagine that. Imagine that you're happy. I have to do that in July. Something about the heaviness of the heat and all of that in July. I have to choose to be happy. So I start saying, I am happy. Can you feel happy? Yeah. All you have to do is choose it. And you say, I can choose. If you're Eeyore, Eeyore, Eeyore. The donkey that finds something wrong with everything in Winnie the Pooh. Sometimes I feel like Eeyore. And I have to imagine that I am happy, and as soon as I can imagine it, I can feel it. And once you have the feeling, you're there. That's how it works. Today we're going to talk about imagination as a spiritual power. And I'm probably not going to go the way I normally go with this talk. Going to start off that direction. Imagination is one of the most dynamic and versatile spiritual qualities we have at our disposal. You use imagination to draw things into your life. You'll hold your focus on an idea, on something you want in your life, whether it's, I want someone to love, I want a perfect job, I want a new car, I want whatever it is you want. You hold that vision and you hold it in your mind over time. And imagination seems to work on these higher levels and draw circumstances together until before long you find the things you were holding in your mind are appearing in your life. That's how it works. But that's how it works not just in the outer world, but in the inner world too. And imagination is one of the spiritual qualities that we use to lift ourselves up to that higher state of consciousness at the moment we're not doing. But if we can if we can imagine that higher state of consciousness for a long enough time, we'll cross over a threshold and actually have the experience. So on an outer level, it's the way we draw things into our life. On an inner level, the image of imagination will pull you to a higher level. You use it to go where you can't quite reach yet. And eventually, you can reach it. Now, we know in each case, the more energy and positive emotion you pour into your visualization, the more powerful it is to draw what you have pictured into your life. And so daily visualization becomes daily prayer. It's the picture prayer. And it's a very effective way to pray. In Genesis 30, 31 through 39, Laban said to Joseph, "What shall I give you?" And Joseph said, every speckled and spotted lamb. Laban has been Jacob. Did I say Joseph? Okay. I'm getting a little ways ahead of myself in the Bible. Okay. He said to Jacob, what shall I give you? Well, Laban was not exactly of the highest ethical content. I mean, you know, Jacob shows up, says, I love your daughter. He says, that's wonderful, and gives him the older one in marriage without him knowing it. After he worked 7 years. Says, but I wanted the other one. Oh, well, then work for another 7 years. You get that one now, too. Great. So somewhere down the road, Jacob is growing up. He's got quite a family, and he's been taking care of Laban's flock forever, and it has prospered under his control. And he got nothing. So he says, you got to give me something. Laban says to him, what shall I give you? And Jacob said, every speckled and spotted lamb, every brown lamb, and the spotted and speckled goats, of such shall be my wages. Now Laban's thinking, yeah, those are the freaks. Fine, you can have them. It's not, you know, there's just a few of them anyway. Jacob took some fresh white rods of almond and poplar trees and peeled white streaks in them. And he set the rods which he had peeled before the flock in the running water, and in the watering troughs where the flocks came to drink. And they conceived when they came to drink. And the flocks conceived before the rods and brought forth lambs that were speckled and spotted. Wow. This is probably the first image, the first recording in the Bible of holding an image as your prayer until it is fulfilled. Now, I read something online, some more conservative Bible teacher was saying, no, it wasn't the rods that had anything to do with this. It was God did it for him. You know, I agree wholeheartedly. But the rods were the tangible form of his prayer. They were the way he visualized what he was praying for and visualized God moving. So, you hold a vision of speckled and streaked, and darn, your life soon looks speckled and streaked. 2 Corinthians 10:5, Paul writes, cast down imaginations and every false thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and capture every thought to the obedience of Christ. Often our imagination gets hijacked by fear and lack. And when it does, it betrays our prayers. We're giving out double messages. At the same time, we're saying, God, please, I need help, take care of me. We're allowing our imagination to run wild in a little horror show in our mind. And that also is our prayer. So we need to capture our imagination to use its creative power for goodness, to not just scatter it all over through the realms of darkness too. Now, we use imagination in individual prayers. I want to image something that I'm going to draw into my life. If it's a new car, I'll hold the image, and you better hold your image of yourself driving it, or you'll have the same realization that the person who worked with Catherine Ponder had. He says, I see these red Corvettes or whatever it was he was into at that time. I see them everywhere. I pull up at every light. One pulls up beside me, or I see one on the road. They're everywhere, but I'm no closer than I was. And she said, when you held the image, did you see yourself driving it? No. Then you're getting exactly what you imaged. Okay, I can amend that. And he eventually got his car. Okay, we use imagination as prayer to draw things into our life, but it has bigger purposes too. Imagination is also the power behind your overall vision for your life. Your vision for your life is a compass reading. It's your vision of where you're going. Do you know where you're going? No. Then my bet is your life will meander, because that's your vision. When you begin to know where you're going, that's where you'll go. So what's the vision you hold for your life right now? When you look down the road from this moment on, what do you see? Do you see images of success? Or do you fear images of failure? When you look down the road, do you have fear of loss? Or do you know that things will work out? This is all part of your vision for your life. And we have to ask ourselves, has fear and negativity hijacked my vision for the future? Well, if it has, you want to create a positive vision for your life. You want your imagination hijacked, but hijacked by visions of success, health, love, harmony, and happiness. Is that where you know where you're going? That needs to be the vision for your life. Goodness. Remember Paul, whatever is good, whatever is wonderful, whatever is lovely, of good report. If there's any virtue, if there's any praise, think on these things. I don't think I did it quite right, but I was close. Well, solidify this positive vision you get of the future. Say, I can see it. I know I'm going to go someplace wonderful. And in the next moment you go, but I got this to deal with and that to deal with and the other to deal with. What you're going to have to do is solidify this as your vision for your life through, number one, repetition, daily imaging where you're going. And number two, don't leave it as an intellectual concept. Pour as much feeling into your visualization as you can. This is my life vision, and I feel it coming to me. The dream is happening piece by piece. That used to be one of my themes. The dream is happening piece by piece. Do you feel the pieces coming into place? And you're going to solidify it a little more by adding will and faith, by knowing with certainty this is where I'm going. This is the life I'm meant to live, and you're going to have to hold this vision over time. Holding your vision over time is what makes it amazingly powerful. And it's what creates that magnetic drawing that draws the circumstances together to create exactly what you've envisioned. Now, when you're talking about your vision for the future, there are a few abstract things that are going to be in there. Things like, I know whatever happens, I'll be taken care of. really does need to be part of your vision for your life. As you look down the road, you need to know, yeah, I'm liable to face all kinds of stuff, but I'll be taken care of. Even if I go through loss, even if I go through pain, even if I go through change, I'll be taken care of. And you might want to practice making sure that's added in to your vision when you hold it on a daily basis. Now, there's one more piece that I want to add to this. Your imagination is also generating not just the vision for your life, but your vision of your world. Okay? How do you see your world? Is it a dystopian vision or a utopian vision? Dystopian visions seem to dominate a lot of movies these days. They've really grabbed a hold of our imagination. But dystopian says it's going down. Utopian says it's going up. It's going to get better. Deep down inside, we need to know that in spite of all appearances, in spite of anything that is happening around the world, I know things are going to get better. They're going to get better. Good wins out in the end. Do you know that? Love that guy in that, the Indian guy in the movie, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, where he says, it'll all be good in the end. If it's not good, it's not the end. You got to keep declaring that. If it's not good, it's not the end, because it will be good in the end. Your vision of goodness is extremely important to the thought atmosphere. This is where your vision for your world comes in. Don't just have a vision for your life. I'm going to succeed. I'm going to do well. I'm going to be happy. Everything's going to fall apart around me, but that's beside the point. Well, I applaud the fact that you're ready to say that in spite of appearances, I'm going to have a good life. Let's just take it a little further and know that in spite of things, the world is going to get better. So here we are. We've been talking about outer things. We've been talking about the things you can draw into your life. We've been talking about the vision for your life and attaching yourself to that vision of where you're going. Then we talked about the vision for your world, that it's getting better. And now I'm going to switch gears dramatically and say the real power of imagination is using it on spiritual levels. Using it, it is a major tool to help lift you to a higher state of consciousness that maybe you can't quite touch at the moment. But you can get there if you use imagination. So imagination is a major part of the spiritual practices that are meant to help us awaken on higher levels. Now we're not talking about physical things you're drawing into your life. We're talking about spiritual experience and drawing that into your actual experience. Imagination can be the rope that allows you to climb your present walls, the walls that are around you, to a higher plateau of consciousness. where on spiritual levels you can experience more than you have. There's an old statement, fake it till you make it. I think it needs to be rephrased. Visualize it until it becomes real for you. Real. I've been at this a long time. I detest spiritual fantasy. People who pretend that they're spiritual. You say, well, imagination, isn't that pretending? If you're content with the image, yeah, it is. But if you're using the image to unleash the real thing, and that may take some time in a society that depends on fast food and immediate gratification. I have spent years working with concepts, and the result is the real thing. You don't want the fantasy. You want the real thing. But if you keep that goal in mind, you may have to start with the fantasy if you really aren't there yet. Hazrat Inayat Khan brought Sufism to the West. He was teaching, I think it was around the 1900s, and he was teaching a bunch of students at one point, and he was trying to teach them to experience the spiritual energies inside of them. So he's working with heart. And he said, I want you to image a ball of light in your heart. See that your heart alive as a radiant ball of light. And one of the students raised his hand and said, if I am imagining this ball of light, am I not just lying to myself? And Hazrat Inayat's response, he smiled and he said, if you're imaging, visualizing something that really is there, are you lying to yourself? Or are you just, the rest of it I'm adding, are you just embracing it until you are there? And you can experience it because you really, your heart really is a ball of light. But you'd have to be up on spiritual levels to see it, wouldn't you? That's what imagination can do. It can provide the rope. And I proved that out for myself later on. I had a time when someone said to me, the best meditation you can do is just to imagine yourself from the center out, a radiant being of light. And then hold that image for your whole 20 minutes worth of meditation. And I thought, oh, okay. Sounds too simple to me. It was powerful, though. In the end, what I did is I went in and started at the center with that speck of light. I imaged that speck of light coming out until I could see, I could imagine my whole body glowing in light. It was going out first 6, 12, 3 foot, 6 inches, 12 inches, 3 foot, in all directions. And now the hard part begins, because now I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving. I'm just imagining myself glowing in light. It took great self-will to hold this image for the first 10 minutes. And then something happened. Somehow I crossed over a threshold. And I wasn't holding an image anymore. I was experiencing glowing in light. It was effortless, no act of will on my imagination. I was glowing in light. That's the process. No matter what spiritual experience you're reaching for, you image it, you embrace it, you hold your focus on this image until it draws finally. It draws you higher and higher until you can experience it now. You're there. Now, if you get into imagination and meditation, you'll find there is a use of imagination in meditation called the imaginary journey. Okay? These are meditations where you image yourself going through a scenario. Okay. You say, well, isn't that pretty much close to the outer? Yeah. But the objective is to touch something to such a spiritual energy. You'll find people stopping in the middle of the day. They quiet themselves. They take just a few moments and go walk on the beach. They go into their meditation. They walk down the beach. And when they come back, they're peaceful. Or they walk through a meadow. And when they come back, their heart's filled with beauty and they feel a sense of peace. So you go on your imaginary journey, which symbolizes something that you're attempting to accomplish. But the real key is that when you're done, you take a moment to feel the energy that your visualization has drawn into your consciousness. You're really after the energy. You couldn't care what the visualization was. It doesn't matter whether you walked on the beach or the meadow or whether you did this or that. As long as it was symbolic of harmony, of goodness, of abundance, of whatever it is you're trying to seek inside. I once was working on the quality of abundance. I had determined that everything we want in life is a spiritual energy. And if you can incorporate that energy into your being, it'll finally be expressed in your life. And I decided, well, I need to figure out how to do this. So I wanted an affirmation, and I started out, I am prosperous. That didn't work for me. Prosperity wasn't the word that really kicked things off. I tried abundance, too big, too cumbersome. Just for me. They work for other people. And then I decided, I asked myself, I've gone through most of the prosperity words. I'm not comfortable with wealth, so what should I do? Other people are very comfortable with wealth. I said, well, if I were living in the midst of abundance, I would have plenty of everything. I went, oh my God, that's my word, plenty. My life is filled with plenty. My life is filled with plenty. I started getting closer. But it was time to engage the imagination. So a life filled with plenty, what is that like? And in my meditation, I found myself walking down the road of life with all of its curves. And as I walked down the road, I knew there was a wonderful surprise awaiting me around every curve. And I'd walk and experience a surprise and walk, and isn't this wonderful? And I'd walk, and all of a sudden I felt this overwhelming energy flow over me. And I went, oh my God, I've done it. That's it. This is the energy of abundance. And then I decided, oh, it's familiar. What? What is this energy? And I went, oh my God, it's gratitude. And from that moment on, I've always taught that gratitude is the shortcut to abundance. Because that's the inner energy. If you're not grateful, you're not living in abundance. So, my imaginary journey is the thing that finally broke through. So go into your heart and imagine you are in the presence of God until you actually feel that you are in the presence of God. Imagine the soul at the center of your being. Imagine yourself reaching toward it until you finally touch something stupendous inside of you. You getting the feeling of how imagination works? It's a means to an end. If you make it the end, you're living in spiritual fantasy. But it's a wonderful means to an end. The real spiritual experience. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through rather quickly 10 practices where you can use imagination to climb that rope, to awaken you to a spiritual experience that you can't quite do yet, but you can imagine it. So, number one's a simple one. It's been used by Unity people for years. I suggest it to you. Before you go to bed, image yourself waking up and feeling good all over. Feeling good. Feeling good in the morning when you wake up. Let that be your image. Hold that image. Experience that image. Put feeling into that image just before you fall asleep. See if that alone doesn't just improve your life. Now, I'm going to hit a whole bunch of them. They're all spiritual experiences I've worked with at some point. I can tell you they are real experiences, and I can tell you that imagination will take you there. It isn't the answer. It's just the train that gets you there. So, number 2, as you pray for someone, image your prayer as a pathway of light. We do a lot of surrounding things in light. I've often said when someone you care about is driving home late at night in the midst of a storm, your fears and your image of twisted mental and hospitals is not helping them, since all minds are connected. Now, you may not be able to stop it from happening the first time, but then you can change it. You go out and you surround them in light. You're surrounding them in God's presence. You're putting them under God's protection. You surround people in light. If you're concerned about a situation that's coming up, surround it in light. Surround yourself in light. Put on the armor of light, Paul said. Yeah, do that. Number 3. Once again, it's a different imagination, a different image, a different visualization. Hold the vision that God is in charge of your life and that you will be taken care of as you walk through life. You want to hold it throughout your day. And you want to do it until it is not an effort of will to know this, but you actually do know it. Until this realization is literally a part of you. Here we are in our older years trying to determine how we're going to live. Do we have enough money? Is the economy going to crash and ruin everything we think we have set up? Are we really ready for this? And yet, deep down inside, I know none of it matters. I will be taken care of. Do you know that? Is that your vision for your life? Number 4, image yourself glowing in light until you know you're a radiant being of light. I described this earlier. You might start at the center with a speck of light, and then until it moves through your whole body, and then out 6 inches, 12 inches, 3 foot, until you are now the work begins. Hold the visualization. Because you might not be experiencing it yet, but you can still hold that visualization that I am this being of light. And if you hold it long enough, at some point, everybody's different. You'll cross the threshold. And you will literally experience yourself as a being of light. Nothing you're using will to imagine. Just something that is. You have climbed. You have used the image to slowly but surely climb until now you're on the level where you can see it. Number 5. Image yourself healthy, strong, and feeling good all over until your body reflects this. Remember I said I am happy? I have to image myself happy and then claim I am happy, and before long I'm actually feeling happy. Imagine that. You can do the same with your body. Make your body happy. Image it healthy, strong, feeling good all over. We do a lot of imaging our body as weak. We do a lot of paying attention to the pains. So image your body in perfect health. Or take it a step further. Image your soul, that ball of light at the center of your being. That is the real child of God. Image your soul unleashing God's divine life into your body. Now, we got a lot of body negativity going on, so it may take a while to let this take dominance. But eventually, you'll erase enough of the negativity that you can literally feel divine life released from your soul and nurturing the cells of your body. Number 6, we'll go another direction. Image yourself connected to all the life in the universe. I'm connected to all the life in the universe. And the way you're going to expand that visualization of being connected to it is as you breathe in, see yourself drawing the life from nature all around you, from the air, from the people. You're drawing life into you from everything in the universe. And then as you breathe out, you're radiating life back out to everything around you. Number 7. Another visualization, imagination that can lead to the real experience. When you first start working with energy levels and working with your spiritual body and trying to understand how the chakras, the energy levels, energy centers work inside of you, the first thing you embrace is the descending energy. Divine light descending down through the top of your head and through you into the earth. Then you'll experience the ascending energy. And you start with the energy of the earth rising through you and then just overflowing out of that fountain, that portal in the top of your head that we call the crown. You'll image it for a little while and then you'll start to feel it. You'll feel divine light descending down the pole of your being. Just image a pole of light going down through you, down the pole of your being into the earth. And in the end, you realize, you begin to experience being the connecting link between heaven and earth. This one isn't too hard. It's not that far away. If you use the image for just a little while, you'll probably feel the energy. And then, once you got the real thing, that's what you work with, is the real energy that's descending. Now, number 8 is working specifically with the heart center. No, remember Hazrat Inayat Khan, see your heart as a ball of light? Well, we're going to do that, but we're going to take it a little further. As you breathe in, imagine God's divine light, the light of love, descending into your heart, filling your heart to fullness. And as you breathe out, image that light just radiating from you in all directions as a blessing to everyone and everything around you. That light is nurturing everything around you. And then as you breathe in, it's descending into your heart. You breathe out, it's radiating in all directions. It's descending, it's radiating. And at some point, it'll become more than an image, more than a visualization. And you'll begin to know God is loving the world through my heart. Now, if you're into spiritual body, you're going to be working with energy centers. I spent years on energy centers. We have this physical body, and coexistent with it, we have this spiritual body, a body of light. And down the center we have physical organs that control our physical body, and down the pole of our being, we have spiritual energy centers that essentially are the organs of our spiritual body. So, imagine your energy centers as radiant balls of light until you can actually feel the energy that is locked in each of them. There's an energy. There's an energy in the heart, and it's very different than the energy in the solar plexus. There's an energy in the root, and it's very different from the energy in the third eye. So we have crown, third eye, neck, which is the medulla, heart, solar plexus, abdomen, behind the navel, and the root, right at the base of the spine. You can image the light descending, but you're imaging a ball in each one, or you may work with one specific until you can feel it. It is imagining the ball that is where you start. It is experiencing the energy that allows you to know you've gotten there. Okay. So another direction for number 10. Image yourself in your heart. Right in your heart. Remember, when we go into meditation, we say, go into your heart. Image yourself in your heart, sitting in God's presence, enfolded in God's loving embrace. Maybe you can feel that right away. But if you can't, you image it first. Sitting in God's presence, embraced in God's love. You image God loving you intensely until you can actually feel that overwhelming love. And know God loves you. These were a whole lot of purely spiritual experiences. They got very little to do with the outer world. This is how imagination is used within your spiritual practices to help you climb to a higher level of spiritual awareness. The spiritual power of imagination can be used to draw wonderful things into your life. That's the main way it's taught. And as such, we'll need to discipline our imagination to center only on the things we actually want in our life, not letting our imagination run wild with the things we really don't want, our fears. We need to stop fear and lack from hijacking our imagination and return to the real vision of where we want to go. And keep our sights on that. However, we also need to harness imagination on purely spiritual levels to carry us higher into spiritual experience. For those experiences that we can't quite do yet, but we're ready to reach for. This is the higher purpose of this very special quality with which we've been endowed. And in each case, whether it's in the outer world or the inner realm of spiritual experience, visualize it until it becomes real for you. That's how it works. Let's close our eyes. Take a deep breath and sigh it out. Move into your heart. Move into that private place deep within you. Now we're going to go on a little journey. Imagine yourself walking down a country road. It's beautiful all around you. You can hear the birds. The sun is filtered through the trees. And off to the left, you see a path that you know most people would miss. But this is your path. So you follow it as it leads through the woods. And it's so familiar and comfortable. And finally, the path ends at the opening to a wonderful, bright, shining meadow of grass in the middle of the woods. And there in the middle of this grassy meadow is your sanctuary, your church, your special place you go to be with God. So you walk through the grass, enjoying the lush beauty all around you. And you walk up to the stairs that lead up to this sanctuary. And the first step is red. With a mist of red just rising above it, and you step into the red. And then you step higher into the orange. And you feel that energy permeating your being. You step higher into yellow. And feel yourself immersed in yellow. And up again into green. Wonderful, lush green. Surround you and enfold you. And the next step is light blue. A beautiful baby blue. And it surrounds you and enfolds you, cools you. You step higher into midnight blue, indigo, a deep, rich blue. And finally, up into violet. And as you arrive onto the porch, it's white light all around you. As you walk through the doors of your sanctuary, and you go in and you sit down. And you realize the presence is here with me. I am sitting in the presence of God. And wonderful feelings flood your being. I am the beloved child of God. I am a spiritual being. And I thrill just to sit here in the presence of God. And as you sit there, feel yourself transfigured, glowing in light as the spiritual being that you are. And as you surrender to God, very Spirit of God flows down through you and radiates through you to bless the world around you. So breathe in and feel that divine light descending down into your heart. And breathe out. And feel that light and love radiating out and nurturing everyone and everything around you. Breathe in, and your heart is full. Breathe out, and God is loving the world through your heart. And continue. Father, thy will be done through me. Use my life as the channel. The channel to focus thy light and thy love on all the world around me. Father, for thy presence with me always, and always radiating through my heart. I am truly grateful. Thank you, God. Amen. The usher will come forward. We'll prepare for our offering. You at home, you can participate, and we truly hope you do. It's your support that keeps us going. If you're online, the way you give your offering is at the end of service. You go to the homepage of our website and hit the Donate Now button to use PayPal or a credit card. You can pull off our address and mail us a check. You can use Zelle, but if you do, you have to use our email address, unityorlando@gmail.com. Or call the office and work things out with Linda. For everyone at home and everyone here in person, let's affirm together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. Thank you, God. Amen.
My love is bigger than the sea. My love is big as God's can be. My love can span eternity. And when I love, it's better for me. This world can show me who I am. This world can change as best it can. My world bestows my soul to thee. When I change, it's better for me. This world shows its growth with every minor woe and every major blow. The one thing that I know, it's not too late to let go. as God's can be.
God's can be.
My love can span eternity.
Span eternity.
When I love, it's better for me. This world can show me who I am.
And show me who I am.
This world will change as best it can.
Best it can.
My world bestows my soul to thee.
Bestows my soul to thee.
When I change, it's better for me. This world shows its growth
Shows its growth.
with every minor woe and every major blow. The one thing that I know, it's not too late to let go. This world, this world,
This world.
this world, this world.
This world.
Ah, that was beautiful and a wonderful way to close this service off. Wonderful as your music is, I believe it's made slightly more exquisite by two people who do solos for us every week, John on his guitar and Carolyn on the flute. And and John, you don't have to say it, I'm going there. John's going to have a little work done this week. He's taking the car into the shop.
The right arm car.
The right arm car. Okay. And it's got to have a little work done. So we're going to lose him for a few weeks. So, John, we'll miss you, but we're all going to pray for your rapid return. Okay. Yeah. And it looks like Carolyn. The pressure's on. Not to mention our singers and our drummer. Do we like our music department? Please give a round of applause. They are a great team. Okay, whether you're watching from home or attending here in person, thank you for being Unity Orlando. Thank you for being those that I get to walk through this life with. I really appreciate that. Next Sunday, my topic will be Master, Saint, and Prophet. Master, Saint, and Prophet. Let's all rise. Let's close this service by joining together and blessing the whole world with our prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. God bless you all. Have a wonderful week. Those at home have signed off, and